few announcements here. I'd like to start up by wishing everybody a happy new year. Just a quick comment about yesterday morning's early morning accident at the foot of Huff Street, extending our sympathies to the families and the friends of those that perished. I'd also like to thank the workers that responded, the dive and rescue team, the sheriff's department, the police department, and all the others that have had to go out in this very difficult weather and deal with this incident. Also like to wish the best to former Mayor Jerry Miller, who recently had surgery. I understand is doing well, but I just want to wish him the best. And the youngster on our council, Michelle Alexander, is having a birthday on Friday. I'd like to wish her an early happy birthday.
Thank you.
And to also mention that on January 18th, Saturday the 18th at Tau Center, there's going to be a Citizens Frac Sand Summit that's starting at 9 a.m. and this is going to include the MPCA Commissioner, John Lime Stein, and 3 national experts on frac sand, sponsored by the Land Stewardship. There's $10 fee with lunch, so if you're interested in that, you can contact the Land Stewardship folks. And also, I have the pleasure of reading a proclamation here tonight. Whereas Tim Olsted was born and raised in Winona and attended Winona area Catholic schools, graduating from Winona Cotter High School. And whereas Tim tried out for the singing competition television show X Factor in Denver, Colorado, and sang the Christina Perri song 1,000 Years, winning over judges in the crowd with his voice. And whereas Tim performed and outlasted the competition on the X Factor, reaching to be one of the top 12 performers and finishing in 9th place overall. And whereas Tim brought national attention to his talent and proudly represented his family and the Winona community. Now therefore, I, Mayor Mark Peterson, do hereby proclaim Monday, January 6, 2014 as Tim Olsted Day. And I'd like you to come up and I'd like to hand this to you.
Say, Mayor?
Yes.
Oh, could we get Tim to do a little solo for us here?
I thought about asking, but I don't think that he's going to do that. But thank you again for all that you've done representing your community. And that's all I have. City Manager?
No comment.
Okay. Roll call?
Mayor Peterson.
Here.
Councilman Thurley.
Here.
Craig.
Here.
Alexander. Here. Iden. Here. Borzakowski.
Here.
Double.
Here.
Under the public hearing section this evening, item 2.1 is the rezoning request by Troy May.
Yeah, I'll declare the public hearing open and ask City Planner Mark Moeller if he has some comments to make.
This request is fairly straightforward and involves a petition from the Mays to rezone a 3.7 acre parcel of land that they own from RR, rural residential, to agricultural. The oddity, so to speak, about this parcel is that it was set aside as a natural estate area back in 1986 when the plat was approved for this lot. And from that standpoint, the zone change request, if approved, really won't be impacted in any way by the zoning per se of the property. It does have to remain as a natural estate area. The only real benefit to the request would be to the Mays in that it would allow them to hunt from the property. Hunting is permitted within agricultural zones. The property is currently zoned residential, and to allow them to hunt from the property, they'd have to change it to agricultural. So that's really the purpose of their request. Planning Commission did hold a public hearing on this last month and did vote 7 affirmative votes, 1 negative vote to approve the request. The 1 negative vote related to kind of personal hunting reasons and that kind of thing. So Planning Commission has recommended approval of the request to council.
Okay, thank you. Is there anybody here that wishes to speak to this topic? If so, stand at the podium and state your name and address.
My name is Troy May, and it is my property that I was looking to change to ag purposes, and that was accurate. The main purpose is so that myself and my children can go out and hunt. I only have one child that's old enough to hunt at this time, but she's gone out with me in the past, and she did get her first deer this year, and it's a wonderful opportunity for us to spend together as opposed to the electronic devices and stuff today now. But that's the main reason we wanted to get it changed. We've got actually 1,000-foot long property, and part of the property was our actual buildable lot, and the rest of it is the outlot, as probably explained by him. And the outlot is what was deemed to be unbuildable in the past, and of course, again, it will remain unbuildable. The only purpose for us to do this is so that we have a little spot in the back to be able to go. We are surrounded by, we are at the dead end of a cul-de-sac in Gilmore Valley on Michaelwood Drive. And we're at the very end. We have a total of 6+ acres, and I believe it was 3 point something or 3.7 acres that we would like to get changed. So not our whole lot. The other portion of the lot that we own is where we built, and that also creates a buffer. In addition to the cul-de-sac and being at the end, it also is a part that makes a buffer from our houses and everybody else's. So we would just be looking to use the outlot as an area to hunt. And like I said, our property is 1,000 feet deep. DNR typically likes you to stay about 500 feet away. The buffer lot where we did build our house is 400 feet deep. We are not requesting to be able to hunt in that area anyways. Currently, our entire cul-de-sac area, as it comes back into a finger, I don't know if you have any maps in front of you, yep. It comes back into a finger, and that entire finger is surrounded by agricultural land. The entire south border of our property is agricultural land bordered by the Nankavilles. They have a couple hundred acres up on the top. And they're able to hunt. They're able to hunt all the way around this entire finger, and they're able to hunt closer to each one of these houses that come into our cul-de-sac than I would be able to on my outlot. The only possibility is there's probably a spot where you could say that it is an equal opportunity for me to hunt as close to my neighbors at the end of the cul-de-sac, the Simmons, and as I'm probably a similar distance as the Nankavilles would be. The Nankavilles lot comes around the top of the Simmons and is probably within 200 feet of their house. I would suspect that would be true because the one lot line here shows that it's 200 feet deep to the top of their outlot and then another 67. So their house is positioned approximately in the middle of that, so they could probably hunt even 150 feet close to that Simmons house. And the Simmons, I've spoke to directly on the phone. They've called actually and asked me, what I was up to with the attempts, and did nothing more than wish me good luck in regards to this process. So I think that's kind of sums it up. My wife is from Winona. We actually did live up in Rochester for a little while. We're both nurses up at the Mayo Clinic. We come from this field of safety, and certainly want to wouldn't want to teach my children to, anything that wasn't safe or impractical in regards to this, but I feel that the way our property is, it's hard to look at a flat map like this, but if you had the contours, the outlot kind of wraps around into the valley, so it goes around the bend into a valley of its own. And as far as shooting and stuff goes back there, it would essentially, you have hill backdrops on every angle. Once you get back up in there, you can't see any houses, and you can see nothing but, hillsides and valley. I've been hunting for over 30 years myself, and with, by my father's side, and I think it's been a great way for us to spend time together, and I certainly enjoy that with my own children now, so.
Okay, well, thank you.
Yeah.
Any questions from council members? Mr. May, George?
How many acres do you own all in total?
It's a little over 6 total
That's what your house and all that?
with the house, yeah. So
Okay.
3.7 is the outlot that I'm looking to change. So approximately 2.3 would probably be the acreage that
Okay.
my house is sitting on.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Other questions? And none of your neighbors have opposed this?
I haven't spoke with, of course, all of my neighbors, but I have spoke with all of the immediate neighbors. So the Fruths are the people that own the lot right next to me, and they also called as soon as they got it in the mail. Matter of fact, I hadn't realized anybody had, because I hadn't received my own copy, but they had asked about it as well, and was wondering if I was planning to bring, do some cultivating and create cropland back there. And of course, they were concerned with that because, of erosion and stuff like that coming down through the people's front yards and stuff. And that was their main concern, and I was assured them that that was not my intent, nor creating this in the ag land would not allow me to do that as well. As it was explained, it's, the property cannot be tilled or used as cropland, so.
All right, well, thank you.
I move to
Michelle?
introduce.
Well, we
ordinance.
have to close the public
Oh,
hearing. Is there anybody else here that wishes to speak? I'll ask again, anybody else wish to speak to this topic? Final time, anybody wish to speak? Hearing none, we'll close the public hearing, and Michelle, your motion?
I'm still moving.
Okay, second by Paul, further discussion?
Just a
Al?
comment, I'm familiar with the area, and I'm glad you brought up erosion. That's, I don't have a question for you, I'm just commenting on it. That, this erosion is a fairly significant issue in that area. The city's been working, and we've dealt with that, I think satisfactorily, so I have no objection to this particular change, and I'll vote for it.
Further discussion, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under the
Happy hunting.
petitions, requests, and communications, item 3.1, license agreements for portable restrooms on public right-of-way. This is for Kimos and BNS Rentals.
I'd move approval of those 2 licenses.
Second.
Motion by Al, seconded by Michelle. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.2 is a request for the use of Veterans Park parking lot by the Military Order of the Purple Heart for a fundraiser on May 10th. I would note that they were informed they do need to also rent the band shell, and they will pay the rental fee for nonprofits.
Move to approve the request.
Second.
Motion by Jerry, seconded by Michelle. Discussion. Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 3.3 is a sign request by the Master Gardeners of Winona County to have signs at Wyndham Park and at the corner of Huff and 61 for the 3-week period of January 27th through February 15th.
Move to approve the sign request?
I would second that.
Motion by George, seconded by Pam. Just note that we are going to be discussing the sign issue at probably our next meeting. Is that correct? Is that the plan? Okay. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Under new business, item 5.1 is the Theater du Mississippi lease agreement for the use of the Masonic Temple for 2 years.
I move to approve the request.
Motion by
Second.
Michelle, seconded by George. Discussion?
Uh,
Al?
The original one was for 1 year. Is there any reason for a 2-year request?
Mayor and council, there is no specific reason for a 2-year request, other than once we've established this relationship with TDM and the use of the building, we agreed that going to a 2-year agreement would be best for both parties. But there's not a real specific reason why we're,
Just wondering, sometimes people make a longer request because they're going to invest something or do something, more permanent. Okay.
not that I'm aware of. But again, the investment that TDM has made in the building as well as the city, I think
No.
it's prudent we go to 2 years.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Chad. Any other questions or comments? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.2 is the certification of completion, final estimate, and resolution of acceptance of the Winona Public Library storm sewer and parking lot project.
Move to approve the attached resolution.
Motion by George,
Second.
seconded by Michelle. Discussion? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 5.3 is the capital budget request for bond funds for 2014.
This is for the Louisa Street Extension Project.
I move to accept the resolution.
Okay, motion
Second.
seconded by Paul, I think. Any discussion? George?
Yeah, Judy or whoever, could you just explain what's all going on here?
Yes, Mayor and Council, this is a request to the state of Minnesota for funding for the Louisa Street Extension Project. This would take Louisa Street from where it currently resides next to Technology Park, the industrial park, and bring it out to Highway 61, so there'd be a new access point on the east end of town. The main reason for the extension is for public safety purposes. If for some reason Highway 61 and Mankato Avenue was totally blocked, there is no other formal access point into the east end of town, which would separate areas of town from the hospital and other public safety equipment. So we're very concerned about it. It would also take some of that significant traffic that you see early in the mornings and later in the afternoons and give it another option of getting into the east end, specifically the industrial areas where there are lots of employees. So we think it's a good project. You know, we've been trying to fund this project for probably the last 8 to 10 years. And we continue to look for potential funding sources, and this is one option, is the capital bonding bill from the legislature in 2014. This would be then, the resolution would be supporting that request by the city.
Thank you. Any other comments or questions? Hearing none, we'll vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
Item 7.1 is council concerns.
Al, we'll start with you tonight.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, sympathy to the family and friends of those who perished in the accident on Sunday, and happy birthday on Friday to Councilperson Alexander.
Thank you.
Nothing to see.
Michelle? Paul? Pam? George?
Oh, boy, I got an extra 10 minutes here.
Oh, no, you don't.
No.
This afternoon, listening to the radio, I got very excited. I heard him say about canceling a city council meeting. And I soon called City Hall and I found out it was Goodview, not Winona. So much rather, a nice night just to sit home and watch the World Championship game. So anyway, Michelle, your father has the night off.
Yes,
so.
he was very excited, George. Thank you, yes.
If we could, Keith or Judy, whatever, could we do an analysis of Broadway from Mankato to Junction Street? I know, like I say, there are some problem spots. We had the one up there in the second ward, which we did, and then the St. Martin's Church. And I know a couple more that come to mind is Hamilton Street by St. John's Church and the Blado Bakery. If we could just do an analysis and see, if, anything maybe needs to be changed on Broadway as far as any traffic control methods, that should be done maybe. With increased traffic today and people kind of refusing, not to slow down, maybe it's time to do traffic control on Broadway. I don't know. And, of course, none of us know yet. But it would just have an analysis from Mankato, Broadway and Mankato, all the way up to Junction Street to just see how everything flows along in there, if anything can be done at all, or any recommendations, and recommendations not to do as well, too, so.
George, I think Judy would like to.
Yes, Mayor and
Sure.
Council, just for your information, we've been requested and we're working on, and we'll be coming back here probably within the next month, an analysis of all the traffic flow around the city, looking at all streets, different safety issues, different stop signs, how traffic should flow and be controlled. So we're gonna look at a bigger picture,
Okay.
and we'll be coming back here probably in the next month with some
And
information.
Broadway will be included.
Every street will be
Okay.
on the review.
Okay, good, look forward to it, so.
Is the city undertaking that study, or is it DOT, or who's
No, it's the city.
the city?
Yep.
Okay, and also wish former Mayor Jerry Miller a speedy recovery from his health issues. And congratulations to Monsignor Roy Latersky on his celebration of 60 years in serving in the priesthood. And he'll be serving a few more yet, and pretty much a well-known name throughout the city. Congratulations to him. Happy birthday to Eleanor Bamanek, who turns a young 95. Happy birthday to the youngster, Michelle Alexander. And also, just a couple of condolences. First of all, again, to all the families, as the mayor and Al mentioned. To the Gordy Faulkner family, on Gordy's passing. Gordy was one of our pioneer bowlers who began putting up the big scores, kind of before they were heard of, when the 600s were really the big games. And then also condolences to the family of Henry Devlin on Henry's passing, to his wife Audrey, her children. Henry, who's been very active in our community through the church, through many civic organizations, and he also is the father-in-law to our street superintendent, Mike Biggerstaff. So condolences to both of those families on people who made a difference in our community. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Under the consent agenda, there are 4 items: the approval of the minutes from December 16th, the final adoption of an ordinance to establish a loading zone on Walnut Street, a claim against the city by Lance Thill, and a claim against the city by Winona Health on behalf of Daryl Albrecht.
Move to approve the consent items.
Second.
Motion by Al, second by Michelle. Discussion? Hearing none, will vote. All those in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Carries.
I move we adjourn.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor of adjourning, say aye. We're adjourned.